Why gig workers have decided to protest during their peak demand time.
Cross-platform strike. Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy, all e-commerce operators were hit. Thousands of delivery boys and girls struck work.
What are their legal rights and what are they complaining about? And is there any resolution for them on the table? On December 25th and 31st of 2025, India's gig workers decided to stop their work on the busiest days of the year. And this strike is not against e-commerce platforms or food delivery platforms. Rather, it is against the digital economy, which is building on invisible, informal labor without any rights. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we will be understanding why this gig workers strike is an important time to address the rights which are missing in our digital economy. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly is unfolding. So the gig and platform workers, they have come together under two major banners, which has been this protest which has been called by Telangana Gig and Platform Workers Union and also the Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers. And in this, major platforms that you use for everyday delivery, immediate delivery, be it Zomato, be it Swiggy, be it Blinkit, Amazon, Flipkart, all the gig and platform workers associated with these major platforms have decided to join this protest. One day, that is December 25th, has already passed along, and the next busiest day, that is December 31st, is yet to be seen. When we talk about this strike, this protest, this clearly reflects how there is a rising gap and immense tension that lies between the platform capitalism that is existing in the digital economy and also the labor rights itself. Now in this context, let us try to understand that when we are talking about gig workers or gig economy, what basically it includes, so we have a fair clarity on this. So when we are talking about gig economy, first we have to understand that whenever we are talking about gig work, it basically does not mean permanent employment. It means that the employment that you will have is task based. You will get one task, you complete that, you will get the remuneration for that. So here in gig work, we get task based and on demand labor is required, which is used by the digital platforms. And these workers are classified as independent contractors, not as employees, and that is why, because they are not the permanent employees or the long-term employees, they do not also get the social security benefits or the basic rights associated with the work. Whenever we are talking about gig workers or gig work, you will find that certain general characteristics which are present around such work, that whatever work allocation they have, it is not permanent, rather it is algorithm based. So for example, you are ordering something on a food delivery app, there are 10 people lined up on that particular restaurant and none of them know which will get that delivery assignment. Furthermore, the incentive and income both are volatile, they are unknown, incentive structures are complex to understand and there are no fixed working hours. There can be people who are working end to end for 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours. In an age where we are already discussing right to disconnect bill in our parliament, this no fixed working hours shamelessly points towards the lack of rights present in the digital economy that we are talking about. And this is also associated with high informality that we get to see in the digital platforms. Even though they are digitalized, they are more capable to help the formal setup that is presently absent. Now that we have a fair idea that what exactly we mean when we talk about gig economy, gig workers, let us move to the second dimension associated around it. Let us move to second dimension associated around it, that what are the key issues which are not only triggering this strike, which are plaguing the digital economy as of now. So the first major reason that the workers have gathered up and compromising on the income on the busiest days of the year in terms of this special delivery platforms, you have to understand the fair reason here is that real earnings have reduced over the time. So there has been a reduced base pay per order that has been seen, and the costs that are associated with delivery, be it the fuel, be it the vehicle maintenance, data, all of this has become costly. So the total earning that they were getting, the base pay has reduced and their expenditures have increased. That means their real earning have gradually diminished over the time. Second important thing here is the unpredictable working hour. There is no assured minimum working hour and the work allocation is erratic, which makes it a palpable condition here itself. Other than that, we get to see that recent times this ultra fast delivery models are the reason that we see extreme amount of accidents and traffic violations, making this delivery model ultra fast yet unsafe. And most importantly, being the digital platforms they are, the algorithmic control has highlighted certain issues such as opaque ratings and opaque incentive systems where people cannot predict what they will be earning. The income is very volatile because it is tied to the incentive system, and there have been multiple cases where people have lost their contracts because there is sudden account deactivation without any explanation from the employer's end. Now, in order to get the whole digital economy, the major players, to address this concern, these people, these gig workers have got together in form of a protest. Now, the pointers that we have understood here, they clearly indicate to the challenges which are present in the digital economy, but there are certain other concerns, especially when we are talking about social security, which are present in form of worker demands. For example, if we talk about, as I mentioned, that these are contract based workers, they do not get the social security benefits. That means they do not have any assured health insurance, accident compensation, maternity benefits or old age pension, and this is a major gap which is present when we are talking about the digital economy and the associated rights around it. Other than that, we have also got to see, even if there are certain issues, there are no grievance redressal mechanisms, and as of now there is no human oversight which is present over the algorithmic decisions. And that is why workers have come with clear key demands in this regard. They want a transparent as well as fair pay calculation where they know what they are earning. They don't want opaque ratings, algorithmic control to keep their pay volatile and opaque. They also want withdrawal of specially unsafe ultra fast delivery targets, because these delivery people are supposed to fulfill the targets in the given time slot. If they do not, they suffer in terms of the pay, and that is why they want the withdrawal of this particular model. Other than that, they have also asked for a due process before ID blocking. That means if any issue arises, there has to be a proper process before which deactivation takes place. Otherwise, it is nothing better than hire and fire, that we absolutely condemn, especially in the time where redressal and grievance understanding should be at prime. Other than that, there are also asks for mandatory rest as well as proper breaks and safety gear so as to ensure that delivery model is sustainable and safe, and most importantly that the social security should be backed by law. That means there should be statutory social security and job security mechanism that should be brought for the gig economy. So herein we do not only get to understand the real-time challenges which are present in the gig economy, but also what redressal that the gig workers are demanding, and this can actually work as a case study for you in the exam, because this is one topic that has been appearing especially in mains and prelims also. We have seen certain questions. Now on this note, we will be moving further to understand, once we have understood what this protest is all about, we will be moving to understand that even if these people have got together, what kind of rights they hold, what are the legal as well as constitutional provisions associated with them, because this will give us an insight to understand if there are things present for them already and they are not being implemented, or there is a vacuum at legal and constitutional end as well. So starting with the legal rights or the legal framework which is present for gig workers. So recently 4 labor codes were implemented, and among this, from the perspective of gig workers, Code on Social Security of 2020, which was implemented this very year, is an important one, because this is the one which talks about legal recognition of gig workers as well as platform workers. It has certain substantial provisions such as making sure that the aggregators are contributing 1 to 2% of annual turnover to gig workers and platform workers. There is a cap that has been placed, 5% of payments made to workers, and also creation of a proper social security fund. All of this will be contributing to health insurance, accident cover and maternity benefits. But the problem with this code on social security is the fact that there has been no definition on the basic or minimum wage, there has been no regulation of working hours, and there has been no answer in terms of job security as well. Apart from the legal work, we do have constitutional provisions. That means there are constitutional features which do talk about gig workers, but they are hiding in the plain sight. For example, Article 14, which gives you equality before law. So that means these arbitrary algorithmic control based decisions, they are raising concerns that this equality is being compromised. Article 19, right to form association. That means this gig workers coming together in form of a protest, they have a legal basis for it. Right to life with dignity. That means they have the basic fundamental right that they have to have safe working conditions and livelihood. And apart from fundamental rights, we have DPSPs such as Article 39, which talks about adequate means of livelihood. That means basic pay is something that becomes a component here. Article 41, which talks about right to work and social security. And Article 43, living wage as well as humane work conditions. So all in all, where we stage these gig workers, is that what they are demanding for is something that our constitution, is something that our legal work has been there to give it to them, but the implementation is falling short, and the distance between the digital economy as well as the labor rights is farther than ever. And because of this, if such issues, this protest continues, there will be impacts, and these impacts will be manifold. For example, in short-term impact, we only might see revenue loss, delivery disruptions, consumers might suffer, but the huge losses will be for e-commerce, quick commerce, food delivery platforms, and consumer inconvenience that will be seen. Other than that, this will be the starting point of either working of labor rights in this direction or toppling off of the digital platform economy that lies in front of us. Medium term impact, we might be able to see increased operational costs for platforms if they consider changes. There might be potential rise in delivery charges so as to fairly compensate the workers, but at the same time it might lead to inflationary pressures which will cost heavy on the pockets of the consumer, and there will be multiple investors' concerns, especially when we are talking about the booming digital economy, which is investor-led as of now. So this rising cost, the operational cost, the labor instability, all of this might tick off investors in the other direction, and the expectation that we have from the gig economy, which is fastest ever as of now. Niti Aayog is expecting that gig economy will be directly contributing to 10 million workers by 2030. And in order to address this, we have to understand the major concern that surrounds the fact that there are huge sustainability issues, especially when we are talking about low wage platform models, and they need to be addressed not just by the platforms but by the statutory methods as well and awareness as well. Other than that, this is a resistance that clearly signals that informalization of labor is at a place where it is showing resistance, and this might be a push point to look into formal labor and change of this very model. Now, apart from the economic impacts, we might also see some impact on the governance end, where there might be some pressure for center and state to look into certain schemes, redressal mechanisms, so as to ensure that these grievances is addressed, to bring in regulations especially for algorithms. And this particular time, in terms of governance, this will be a renewed challenge and renewed debate on worker classification, because the classification which labels them as just a contractor versus dependent worker, this is where we will get to see if government can bring some clarity and enhance the usage and efficiency of this model. Now, that was all from my side. Let me know in the comment section that what can be the way ahead from here, and do you think there are any other challenges which are present to the gig workers? Let me know in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.